Hello, I'm DeDe. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll do some seated exercises to promote both flexibility and balance while replicating some ADLs, or activities of daily living. Here's what you'll need: a sturdy armless chair, some athletic shoes, and some water off to the side. You'll also need plenty of room around you, and then you'll need to slow down or do a smaller range of motion with anything that doesn't feel absolutely right for you. Let's have a seat. As usual, we're sitting up tall, straight, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, legs in line with hip joints, and the feet are flat on the floor, and the toes are not turned in or out, they're straight ahead. Let's start with some toe taps. Right and left, join me. Right, left. So utilizing these muscles in the tops of your feet and the fronts of your ankles. These muscles are important for everything we do if we're walking or moving from one spot to another to do something. Let's go faster. Right, left. So the thing about everyday activities of daily life is that we don't really think about them until we're having trouble doing them. But right now we're going to think about them in a way that's going to make us better at them. So we're going to stay focused on that. Functional fitness, that's another name for what we're doing. Fitness that applies to everyday life, the best kind. 4 more taps, that's 4 and 3 and 2. Now we'll do heels up, both heels, up, down. Let your arms come down and bend and straighten. So even just bending our elbows or going up on our tiptoes, that replicates some of what we do in everyday life. For example, if you're reaching up on a high shelf, you may go up on your tiptoes to reach something. If you're picking something up off the ground and carrying it, you're going to bend your elbows, most likely. 4 more. 3. Now let's go to an alternating tiptoe. So right heel up first, right, left, right, left. And you'll bring one shoulder forward, the same side as the lifting heel. And start to let your arms get bigger. You can turn your torso. You can turn your head. And if that all is too much for your balance, then you'll just keep looking forward and you won't do as much movement. Remember, our eyes and the position of our head have a lot to do with our balance. Let's do 2 on each side. So it's 1, 2, and switch. 1, 2, and switch. Two more. 1 more. Now back to singles. 1 and 2. Bend your elbows now. I can feel some fatigue starting in my lower legs, my feet, my ankles. Can you feel that too? A little bit of fatigue. Now both heels up with resistance from your hands. Push down and lift your heels. Now you're doing all of this while remaining tall and straight with your spine. Your ears are still over your shoulders. If you find yourself tending to have your head forward, try to notice when you're doing that and correct. Bring your ears back over your shoulders. Good posture has something to do with our balance and our mobility as well. If your head is always forward, then your center of gravity is off a little bit. So staying tall and straight helps us with balance. Now we'll take our heel forward, first the right heel, and then the left heel. 1 and 2. Now a little faster. 1 and 2. How about the arm? Opposite arm. When the heel goes forward, let's start to add a little twist. Across with your elbow, turning your chest. Now 2 on each side. 1, 2, and switch. How are you doing with turning your head? Are you able to do it successfully? If not, just keep looking at me. Now the singles, heel and heel. Now we push forward with the opposite arm. So when we're walking, we use opposite arm and leg like this. So this opposite limb movement, which is inherent in us from the time we start crawling, this helps us with our ADLs as well. How about both arms? Forward, forward. Now just a reminder, if you need to hold the chair with one or both hands the whole time, that's fine. I want you to do that if that's what makes you feel comfortable. And then maybe eventually you work your way up to one hand, maybe then 2 hands. Now start to lift your knee up. Knee, knee, and then we're gonna reach down and touch the knee. Touch, touch. Can you take your hands up higher? So when you lift your knee, you bring your hands down. How's that working in your brain? This is a little bit of brain fitness. So think about everything coming up and meeting in the middle. It meets in the middle. Step your feet out a little wider, maybe shoulder width. Try not to lean back now, and the arms go up and over. If you're doing the arms. 2 on each side. 1, 2, switch. You getting warmer? Or you're breathing a little faster? 1, 2, 1, 2. Back to the singles. Last 4, last 3. Now take your hands in your lap. Inhale, shoulders down. Exhale, tip forward with a hinge from your hips. Do it again. Inhale up, tip forward. So during that movement that we're doing for the last few minutes, our middle had to be very stable. So this feels nice, doesn't it? To release it and stretch a little bit. All right, we come up, fingers together in front, and then reach back and touch the back of your chair. Fingers together in front, and the back of your chair. Now, if you can turn your palms toward one another, and also back here toward one another, see how that feels. Can we go a little faster? Let's try it. In the front, in the back. Now your torso can lean back a little bit and forward a little bit as well. Now if you're doing that, just make sure your back is still straight and that you're not rounding, okay? Two in each direction. Here's 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and forward, and back. Fingers touch. Touch the back of your chair. Now back to the singles. Now if you're doing the torso rocking, you can bring that down. Now we're not rocking the torso. We're going to move the feet out a little wider. Now your legs can be out by the corners of the seat of your chair. Now hands on your legs, inhale, exhale, hinge forward. Just like we did earlier, but with the feet wider and the knees wider, it feels a little different, doesn't it? Make sure your feet are out underneath your knees so you have good stability. Now we'll do a hip hinge twist. So inhale, drop one shoulder down as you exhale. So we're leaning forward and we're rotating, but we're doing that with a neutral spine. So that means the back isn't rounding, and that keeps it safe. It should feel good that way too. Do you feel the stretch in the front of your shoulder? What about the rotation? Do you feel it through your back? I can feel it. All right, then we'll come up, turn sideways. Hold on to the chair, getting into your seated lunge. Start with some pelvic rocking right here by your front pocket area. Tuck forward, release. Tuck forward, release. So it involves your pelvis tipping forward toward the front of your body and then tipping back. If you're thinking about the bottom part of your pelvis. One more time. All right, let's turn the other way. I want you to take your time. All right, here we go. Forward and back. So I'm doing this with my hand just to illustrate the direction of the motion of your pelvis. Let's do two more, then we'll start to get into some recognizable, familiar movements. All right, let's turn all the way around again, facing each other, legs apart. Keep your back straight and long. Now we'll reach down like we're picking up, let's say, a waste paper basket, and then we're setting it down again. Let's do it again. Pick it up, reach down, back straight, pull it in close to you like you're carrying it somewhere, and then set it back down, hands on your legs. Let's do it again. Down, pick it up, set it down. Now let's try with one hand. So left hand stays where it is, reach down, pick something up, pull it back next to your ribs, set it down, and then switch. This is the way that you probably want to reach down to pick stuff up with one hand, supporting with one hand on your leg. That helps to support your back. Keeps you a little stronger. If you're picking something up that's pretty heavy, it's important to have the right amount of support. So you can support with the musculature in your torso, but you can also help with a hand on your leg, or on a counter, or on a chair, whatever's handy. Your leg is usually there with you though. Let's do it again. Let's say it's a little further out in front of us. Pick it up, pull it in, set it out in front of you, and then sit up, switch. Let's do two more. It's a little further in front of you, so we're not compromising our spinal alignment, right? You still have your back neutral and straight. And again, reach, grasp, pull, and then down and sit up. All right, let's come forward into a hip hinge. Both hands on the legs. Stay here. Relax your shoulders. Okay, I want you to bring your feet in a little closer together and just watch while I demonstrate what we're going to be doing next. Just watch. So here's me. Pretend like I'm sitting in the passenger seat in a car. So then I open the car door, I step out, I put my hands on my legs, and I start to stand up. But for the purposes of what we're doing here, we're not standing all the way up. Then I sit down, and then I pretend like I'm getting in the car. So I've sat down, I put one foot in, I put the other foot in, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so turn to the side and join me. Make sure you have plenty of space. All right, let's start. We open the door, now we step out. One foot, the other foot, and make sure you have your balance here. Lift your hips an inch off the chair, sit down. Now we'll get back in the car. In, and then we're ready to go. All right, let's do it again. Step with your outside foot, step out, make sure you have your balance, hands on your legs, stand a little bit and sit back down. Now you don't have to stand all the way up there. Let's get back in the car. You can keep your hips completely on the seat of the chair the whole time. You don't have to lift your hips at all, but do it if you can. Let's step out, get your balance, lift, release, and we get back in. All right, now this time we're going to get out of the car and we're going to stand all the way up, if that's right for you. Before you go, if you need a second chair to grab onto when you stand up, or if you need something else to grab onto, a wall or a countertop, make sure you have that. Okay, here we go. Step out, take your time. Out, make sure your feet are right under your knees. Stand all the way up. Keep breathing. And then we'll get back in the car, sit down. Step one foot in, step the other foot in. How did you do? Let's do it again. Out, brace your core, hands on your legs, stand all the way up, breathe, and then we'll sit back down. Are you grabbing onto something if you need to? Make sure you do. Step back in, step back in. We have two more as a passenger. Out, adjust your feet, and then stand, breathe, sitting down, and then we get back in. One foot in, the other foot in. One more time. Out, stand, get back in. Have you ever had a day like that where you were just in and out of your car all day? It's tiring, isn't it? And now you know why. Okay, let's stop. Let's turn all the way around to the other side now. So now in this scenario, this is the driver's side, right, where the door is on this side. So now we've put the car in park, we've undone our seatbelt, we've opened the door. Here we go. Step out with this foot first. Out. Now you're not going to stand up, you're just going to lift your hips, and then you realize you forgot something, so you sit back down, and then you get back in. All right, and then pause here. Have you ever had that? Oh, I've done that before. You got to go all the way home. Don't like that. Step out. Step, adjust your feet. Take your hips up if you can. Sitting, get back in. And then just practice your good posture, which we should always have when we're driving, whether we're the driver or the passenger. Let's go again. Out, lifting your hips if you can. And then get back in. And good posture. One more time like that before we get all the way up. Here we go. And in. sit. All right, this time we actually leave the vehicle. So 1, 2, safely, 3, 4, and then repeat it in reverse. Get in, 1 foot, and the other foot. And we're ready to go. Here we go again. Again. All right, one more time like that. Here we go. All right, now we're going to head home, so face me. Roll the shoulders, reset your posture. Let's walk the feet in so they're hip joint distance apart, and then we'll rest our hands or our forearms on our legs. Just stay here. Okay, sitting all the way up. Now we'll stagger our feet, not too far away from the chair now, still close to the chair, but one foot is a little further forward. Like the toes of your right foot are in line with the arch of your left foot, for example. Hands on your legs. Now here's what we're doing. We're either going to make the hips light, or we're going to lift the hips a few inches, or we're going to stand all the way up. So those are your options. All right, ready? Here we go. Do one of those 3 things while you breathe. Now you want to ease back into the chair. You don't want to plop down. Even if you're only lifting a couple inches, you can still plop down, which we don't want to do. We don't want to send all that stress reverberating up our spine. Plus, we want to use our muscles to decelerate. So we're not going too quickly down. So you'll notice the foot that's further out, that leg is not working as hard. Are you noticing that? Let's do one more. And then we're down. All right, arms down at your sides, roll your shoulders up and back and down. And one more time. Now switch your feet. Remember, it's approximately toes in line with the arch of the opposite foot. Really double check that your feet are not too far away. All right, here we go. Either make your hips light, lift them a couple inches, or stand all the way up with me. So obviously, this is very functional training, because when we're sitting, eventually we have to stand, right? Have you ever sat down into a really deep couch or a really soft chair, and when you started to get up and out of it, you felt like you couldn't do it because you had sunk too low? That can happen. That's when you need someone to help you up sometimes, right? So beware of the extra cushy chair or couch. Sometimes it can keep you. All right, I think we have 2 more. And then just one more. And then we're down. All right, let's separate the feet out in line with the corners of the chair. You can go as far out as that. Arms down, roll the shoulders up and back and down. Up and back and down. All right, and then we'll walk the feet in closer, and we'll do this figure 4 stretch with your ankle up on top. If it's more comfortable for you to have your ankle over your ankle, that's the way you'll do it. So if you're up here, you can flex your foot. And then switch. So either here or further up here. They're both good. And then we'll sit all the way up. Now your feet are wide. We're moving back to our lunge. Hold on to the chair. This time the back leg is much straighter, as straight as you can get it. Torso is upright. And then you push your heel back. Now let's add a twist, so you can take your hand that's closest to me to the outside of your front knee and grab onto the back of the chair, turning your chest around toward the back of the chair. All right, then we'll switch sides. Straightening out your back leg, holding onto the chair. And then your arm that's closest to me comes across, and your other hand is on the back of the chair. Then we'll release that, come around to facing forward one more time. Take the little finger side of your fists and plug it in here at the side of your hips, and then draw your elbows back. You should be far enough away from the back of the chair where your elbows don't touch the back of the chair. Stay there. Opening up your chest. Posture is important. As I said earlier, posture is important for balance, right? And this is one way that we can help keep our head back by loosening up our chest and shoulder muscles a little bit. All right, then release that. Slide your hips forward to the front of the chair. Walk your feet forward. One leg straightens out, and then we'll take our hands on our legs. Now keep your left hand on your left thigh. See how far down you can reach your right hand without rounding your back. It doesn't matter how far you go. I just want to encourage you to go as far as you can, sensibly, comfortably. And then we'll come up and we'll switch. Come forward. And keep your right hand on your right thigh and reach your left hand down if you can, further down your left leg. We'll help ourselves up. Now bend both knees and scoot back in your chair a little bit. Roll your shoulders up and back and down. And once again. All right. So how did that feel? By practicing some of our everyday activities that we do in everyday life, by practicing them here, we can be better at them away from our workout space. So we can be more confident and more independent for longer, which is a really great thing. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, be well.